Praise God, brothers and sisters. Merry Christmas. Today we celebrate the Holy Family. A family is a basic unit of society. It's where life is given and life is received. And it is the only place that we can grow as proper human beings. I'm from Uganda, and there is a story about a man now. Robert Mayanja is his name. He was raised up by monkeys until when he was about 6 years old. His story dates back in the early 1980s during the civil unrest at that time in Uganda. So it is believed that Robert's parents were killed in about 1982 during the war, and the boy was abandoned in the forest. It was possibly about 3 years, they estimate. He was left alone and he lived in the wild for another 3 years. But what happened was monkeys took him up. They looked after him. So after the war, the guns had gone silent and the war was done. The soldiers were roaming around the bushes of where the conflict took place. And then they spotted what looked unmistakably like a human being among monkeys. The story goes that they had to disperse the monkeys in order to rescue the boy. But it was a struggle, they said, because the monkeys put up a big fight. It is said one adult monkey held Robert tightly to her bosom in an attempt to protect him. Robert has then been taken up, rehabilitated, under the wings of the First Lady, the wife of the president. But what is intriguing is that in spite of that attention and care and rehabilitation that has been provided for Robert, he still has the animal tendencies he was raised up to be. This, brothers and sisters, just goes to show us why family is so important and indispensable for the proper upbringing of human beings. God, in his wisdom and in his goodness, was the one who is the author of the human society, the human family. The first institution that was created. We read in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. God created human beings, making them like himself. He created them male and female, and he blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it." Unfortunately, this first family was tempted and they were defeated by evil, leading to sin and death. That's the tragedy of the human family that we read in Genesis chapter 3. But God still wanted to use the human family as a means of rescuing humanity. And so family was so important to God that in the new dispensation, when the fullness of time had come, he sent his only begotten son to be born. Where? Not in the temple, not in the palace, not in the middle of nowhere, but in the middle of a family of Joseph and Mary. And that's the feast we just celebrated yesterday. This is the Holy Family that we celebrate this Sunday. The family of Joseph, Mary, and Jesus. From the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, verse 41 to 52, we learn that this family was as human as it could be. They traveled like everyone else to Jerusalem for the feast of the Passover. They got exhausted like everyone else. They too had a kid who wandered away from the presence of their parents, from the presence of his parents, without any information. Moreover, for 3 whole days. This family also had parents who did not know parenting 101. They simply presumed that the child was with the other partner. It also had parents who panicked, parents who worried, who were anxious, and also furious. Because we are told when they found Jesus in the temple, they had to sit him down, probably like a timeout. And they had a tough talk with him. This family also had a kid who talked back to the parents, and in a sometimes rather cynical way. Listen to what he says in the temple when his mother said, "Your father and I were being worried." He says, "Did you not know that I was supposed to be doing my father's business?" So this feast of the human family teaches us and challenges us on a few important lessons. The family of Joseph, Mary, and Jesus were a holy family, but was not a perfect family. They had problems and challenges like all other human families. Look at Mary herself. She conceived outside marriage, which almost caused a divorce. They were poor. This exhibited by their inability to find a proper lodging when Jesus was to be born. And the type of sacrifice that they offered was for a poor family. Turtle doves they offered. So this family is holy not because everything was good and rosy. They had challenges, that problems, that to flee into exile when Herod wanted to kill the baby. They had to go to Egypt. The child went missing in the temple. All this shows us that the family is holy not because there is perfection and goodness. So, brothers and sisters, do not envy other families thinking that they are much better than yours. When I was growing up, it was always the other family which was better than our family. They had better things. They had good meals, better meals. They were happier, they were luckier. And sometimes as kids, we lie about the goodness of our families. Why? So that we want to make them look better than others. Friends, your family is imperfect and full of defects, but it is your family. Stick with it. So then, why is the Holy Family called holy? What makes it holy? Because they anchored themselves on God. They believed in God much more than themselves or other people or the world. They knew there was something beyond themselves and beyond their situation. They trusted in God and obeyed His will, difficult as it was. Brothers and sisters, this gives us hope. Hope to our fragile, imperfect families. Let us look at the Holy Family as a model that we can follow. Let us look at something and someone greater than and beyond ourselves and our situation. Let us believe that in putting us in this particular family, God has a divine purpose that will not be thwarted by anyone or any circumstance. Each family, brothers and sisters, imperfect as it is called to be holy. All families, even those we think are perfect families, they have miles to go if you just knew what they were going through. We grow in holiness by growing in an unconditional love for each other. We are perfected in charity, it is said. We have to carry each other's burdens. Jesus himself, God as he was, learned obedience from his suffering, we are told in the book of Hebrews. The book of Hebrews further says, "For we do not have a high priest who was unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has similarly been tested in every way, yet without sin." Our families, defective as they may be, can become powerful schools of obedience to God and a means for our salvation. Therefore, let us pray for all human families, Let us fight and protect the integrity of this important human institution. May the Holy Family of Jesus, Mary and Joseph, protect and guide all our families. Amen.